Hi students, I'm going to try to give you a tutorial on how to do the diet analysis project part 2. I'm hoping that both of my screens will show up. I've uploaded some examples that I've done onto Polylearn so you can take a look at them. So here's the diet analysis part 2. You are going to use the diet recall that you did from part 1 and the reports that you submitted. So the reports should look the same as for the part 1. I'm trying to show them to you, but it won't let me share that screen right now. Okay, anyways, you're going to check your diet analysis for errors and make sure that it's accurate. So errors would be things like if you put that you ate 4 cups of butter or 10 tacos, or maybe you ate pasta but you only put 1 teaspoon, something like that. So look for errors and then write if this is something you typically consume or not. So you can see what I've written here. Have your eating habits been consistent over time? Have they changed throughout the quarter, etc.? And was your meal representative of that? Then you're going to fill out this form for which days you recorded your diet. Oh, I should also be putting the days of the week. I didn't on this one. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I do know the 15th was a Monday. I believe the 24th and 25th of September were probably weekdays, but I'd have to look back in my calendar. You're going to put your height, your weight, the weight you used in NutriCalc if it's different. And so mine was just a little bit different depending on when you weigh yourself. You are going to actually physically measure your waist. So if you don't have a tape measure, you can get a piece of string and wrap it around your waist, or use a belt that you use, wrap it around your waist, mark where it ends, and then use a ruler to measure that amount. So larger waist circumference is indicated with higher health risk, and so that's the point of doing that. You're going to calculate your BMI. BMI can be calculated a couple different ways. It can be calculated weight in pounds over height in inches squared, and then you multiply this whole thing times 703. Or you can do weight in kilograms over height in meters squared. That way requires a little bit more conversion because you're going to have to convert your weight from pounds to kilograms. You can also use BMI calculators, which you can find online. That's okay for this assignment. However, on a test, I would ask you to be able to calculate BMI using your own calculator. So make sure you're confident and comfortable with how to do that. You're going to compare your BMI to BMI ranges in your textbook and decide what it is, if you're underweight, normal weight, overweight, obese, etc. You are going to look at your recommended calorie intake based on your all reports from NutriCalc. NutriCalc recommended that I take in 2,077 calories a day, and then you're going to look at what you actually did take in. So I'm going to see if this will let me share this screen. Yes, it's going to let me share this screen. So now I'm sharing this NutriCalc screen, and let's see. So right here is what my DRI goals were. And then this report won't let me actually move down, will it? Oh, that's annoying. So that's what I was supposed to eat. And then hold on one second. Okay, I was able to move my screen a little bit. So here you can see this, I just scrolled down the report a little bit. This is a bar graph report. You'll use this for a lot of sections doing this form. My DRI goals are how much I was supposed to eat. The value is how much I actually ate. So I actually ate 1,969.78 calories, and you're going to record that in your document. Other things that you're going to use from this page are protein in grams. You're going to look at how much you actually ate versus how much you were supposed to. You're going to look at dietary fiber in grams, how much you actually ate compared to how much you were supposed to eat. Is there like a highlight tool here? Maybe a spotlight tool. Let's see. You are going to look at fat in grams. Nope, that's not so good. Fat in grams. Yeah, fat in grams. Fat in grams right here. What you intaked versus what you're supposed to. Saturated fat in grams. Trans fat in grams. Monounsaturated fat in grams. Polyunsaturated fat in grams. Cholesterol in milligrams, and then the different vitamins. So things that you don't want to look at for this section is like protein percent, carbs percent, etc. You want to look at the grams and use those for your report. So now I'm going to go back to this screen and try to share it with you. And it looks like it is thinking a long time. New share. This share screen. Okay, so using the information that you saw on your report, you're going to fill out this next part, how much you actually ate. You are going to take what you were supposed to eat, the 2077, that was what I was supposed to eat, versus what I actually ate. And if it's less, you're going to subtract. So in this case, I subtracted 1,969 from 2077, and I got that I ate 107 calories less a day than I was supposed to. If you ate more than what you were supposed to, you're going to have more calories that you ate. And then for this next section, it says, if over the next year you consumed the same amount of calories, would your weight change? And the answer to that is yes. So for me, since I consumed less calories, I'm likely going to lose weight. How you're going to figure this out is you're going to take this amount of calories based on how many more or less you ate a day. You're going to multiply that by 365 days in the year to get a total. So during the entire year, if I always ate this way, I would eat 39,135 calories less during the year. On average, there is 3,500 calories in a pound. And so you are going to divide that by 3,500. And it's going to give you an estimate of how much weight you would gain or lose. You're going to then look at that and decide if that seems normal or not. For me, I had a baby 2 years ago, so I'm still losing a little bit of my baby weight, and I have lost a little bit of weight this year, so I think that that's reasonable. This next part, you're going to fill out, again, from the sections that I had just indicated on that report. You're going to fill out protein in grams, total fat in grams, saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, and you're going to be filling out what you actually consumed to what was recommended. Sometimes you can just eyeball this to tell how close it was to your goal. Sometimes you might need to actually look at the bar graph or do a calculation. If you were within 85 to 149% of your goal, you're going to write within. If you were above 150% of your goal, you're going to write above. And if you were below less than 85% of your goal, you're going to write below. Cholesterol, I was below, but that's okay because we don't need more cholesterol. You will fill this out for all your vitamins and minerals as well. I just didn't do that to save myself some time. Then for everything that you've filled out in this table, all the within, aboves, and belows, you're going to categorize them here. So I filled mine out based on what I had done, but you would also add the vitamins and minerals. Supplements. If you use any supplements, you're going to list them and then put how often you take them. If it has a USP certification, that means it's US Pharmacopoeia approved, which means the facility has been inspected for sanitation, the supplement contains what it says it has in there, and you can absorb it very well. Then you're going to list the ingredients in the supplement. So for example, I take a vitamin D calcium supplement as well as a fish oil supplement. And then next you're going to look at your reports and discuss if you think those supplements were necessary or not. For me, I was pretty close to meeting my goals for calcium. So maybe I don't need the calcium, but I was low in vitamin D and I was low in the omega-3s. So I do think my supplements are good. I could switch from, instead of a calcium vitamin D combo, to just a vitamin D. Next part. So this is going to have you kind of going to a different section in your all reports to fill this out. So how did your intake for each of the following categories compare to your intake recommendations? List as a percent found in your data, and then also percent of calories from each macronutrient. So now I'm going to try to switch my screen so I can show you where to find this information. Okay, I believe that the screen has switched. So where you're going to find the information to this is all the way kind of near the bottom of your nutrient report. And you're going to be looking right here for the different food groups. So grains, vegetables, fruits, dairy, and protein, and how close you got with all those. And then you're going to be looking here for percentage of calories that came from protein, carbohydrate, alcohol in my case, maybe not yours, and fat. And then when you're doing the percent of calories of each type of fat, you're going to look over here. So my saturated fat was 32, my mono was 24, my poly was 15, etc. Okay, next you're going to look through the foods you ate and record which foods have plant sources of proteins. You only have to write them down if they have more than 2 grams. If they have like 0.1 gram, 0.5 grams, don't worry about it. So you can see what I wrote there. The next part is a little bit trickier. It's the meal assessment report. So this is evaluating what percent of your calories came from each meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack. And you won't necessarily find this information in your reports. Well, you can, but it's a little bit more difficult. So in order to do this, you're actually going to create a small report just for yourself, which will tell you how many calories came from each meal. And then you're going to divide that by how many calories on average you've taken a day. So you can see for breakfast, on average, I had 432 calories. I divided it by my total average per day. For lunch, I had 434 calories, dinner 759, etc. So now I'm going to show you where and how to make that report. Okay, so if you are in the NutriCalc, you go to reports and you go to calorie assessment reports. You want all your days selected, and then you can unclick all the meals except for one. You're going to hit view report. And here you are going to be able to see how many calories on average you ate for that meal. So my breakfast was 432. Then you can go back. So I'm going to go back and try to get another report. You can do that here. Oops, sorry, it logged me out. So now I'm going to go back to the same report, and I could do the same thing for dinner and lunch. So now I'm going to unclick breakfast and click lunch and make a new report. So that's where you can find that information. Okay, after you have done this section that we just talked about, you're going to complete a family tree. You can see my example of a family tree online. I chose to put all of the diseases my family has. You don't have to, just put the chronic diseases. If you are adopted or don't know your family history, it's okay. You can write that on your family tree and instead list diseases that you would not want to develop. If you have a disease other than what's listed, you highlight other and you put the name of the disease. This part, you'll be evaluating your exercise regime and if it meets goals. And then the summary is your reactions. And this is worth 4.5 points. So do a good job on your summary. Again, sorry for the tech issues in the beginning of this presentation, but I think overall it was okay. And I'm learning more about screen sharing. So hopefully that helped a little bit. Okay, bye.